Hello, everybody. Brady Cameron here, the marketing game changer, and I'm here to bring you another Happy Clients Now um, list of things that I've been dealing with for the last 6 months in my workings with health club owners. And I kind of put together a little list of what to kind of tell you is the most common thing that I hear health club owners say, and the most common thing that I'm seeing them actually do that's really kind of more like they're not doing that they need to be doing type thing. And this is just this I hope this video reaches you and just stimulates your thinking a little bit to look at things in a different way, to maybe expand how you've been viewing things and look at them in a different ways. Because running a health club is just like, and owning a health club is just like it is in our own life. The problem is this: most of the time we get a lot of problems, or we get a lot of obstacles, and things are not going the way that we normally either expect and want them to go, or the way that they normally go, and it turns bad, really deeply, disturbingly bad. And so what happens is we get stuck in that problem. Now, sometimes the reason why we get stuck in that problem and we don't move forward, even though we think we're trying to, but we're really not. What you're doing is you just continue to struggle with the problem instead of trying to create more answers. Your energy is going into the problem, and you're going down the rabbit hole, and you keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging, instead of your energy going towards solving the problem and thinking of new things, of new ways you can apply something or to do something, or simply call in somebody that knows what they're doing, and you go ahead and just pay for their expertise to get you over the hump. And and sometimes what I'm hearing is that, well, that could cost 5, 10, 15, $20,000. I said it could. However, I think you can get it done cheaper than most of those numbers. But at the same time, how much are you going to lose and continue to lose every single month because you're not fixing the problem and you're not dealing with it? This list that I'm about to talk about with health club owners is in no way, shape, or form putting down any health club owner. And I'm talking to the mom and pop health club owner. You're my market, you're my people, you're my friends, you're my tribe. You are who I want to help. So I've talked to a bunch of you now, and I put this list together. I want you to perceive it as strictly friendship and me trying to just to get you to think about things differently, or to expand your mind a little differently, look at some things differently, and consider some things differently. So without further ado, I got my list right here. One thing I always have around me is pen and paper. I know a lot of people use little recorders and stuff today, but I guess I'm still too old school for that. Just good old pen and paper works for me. So, but also too, I also find that the more I write things down, the more organized I am, and the more my brain goes to work trying to solve it immediately once I get my problem clearly, meaning I'm writing down exactly what my problem is and I can define it. I'm not stumbling or confused. I know exactly what my problem is, or the problem is. And then my brain just starts going to work solving on this problem and helping to move me forward. Sometimes it's a little slower than I wish it would, be honest with you, but it's still doing it. So if you got a lot of things on your mind and you're frustrated and you're stressed out and you feel like it's the end of the world and everything's just coming down on you, the first thing you have got to do is get that out of your brain onto paper. Just sit down and start writing out everything that's wrong, everything that's going wrong, everything that doesn't seem right to you, everything that's got you down, got you depressed, got you struggling, got you frustrated, whatever those situations may be. Get them out of your brain, get them onto paper, and write the problem out on paper very clearly. so that you could pass me the paper. I could read the paper. I immediately know your problem because it was that clear. You got to be that clear on what the problem really is. And I'll also say this, the solution to the problem might not be the one you want, might not be the one you prefer. It might be the one that's got more struggle, more pain, more loss, and more commitment than you were willing to do. But there is an answer. And then once you get the answer and it's cleared, then you got to create in your mind, how is it that I feel I can go about solving this problem that I'm stuck with or that I'm in? How can I solve it? And then write down several lists of ways that you can solve it. Now, what I like to do after I write down my list of how I'm going to solve a problem, sometimes I come up with 5, 6, 7 different ways. And I'm thinking and I'm thinking and I'm thinking, I just can't get any further. So the thing I like to do then is go talk to some of my smartest friends or people I know who have been through or something very similar to what I'm going through and hear what their ideas might be about how I should solve this. And not always do they have the greatest idea either, but sometimes I can take one of them, some of my idea, put it with some of theirs and maybe another one of my friends and maybe another one of my friends, and it ends up being solved. So you've got to look for the answers in all ways, shapes, and forms. Don't fixate your mind on solving something only one way. If you fixate your mind on solving something only one way, then you will shut out all the opportunities that are available to you to have solved that problem. But you're too fixated, and you don't have your head on a swivel, and you're not watching everything that's going on, and that's what's really going to end up costing you in the long run. So if I got to spend, hypothetically, if I was a club owner, health club owner, and I had to spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to solve a problem that I know for a fact I'm losing $5,000 a month on or $3,000 a month on because I don't fix it. You don't think I ain't going to pay that $15,000, $20,000, $10,000 to solve that problem? Because it's solving it, and it's solving it now, and it's solving it long term. And I don't have to be faced with that again, because if it ever does, I know what to do. I know how to get out of it. I'm paying for my education. And there's a real difference in between going to school and paying for an education that you're going to get from some books from a lot of professors who have never ran a business, but they're in their teaching business. I still trying to figure that one out. Okay, because what they're really teaching you is more like the pillars and the structure of a business. But what they're not really teaching you is sometimes when you got to go outside or stand on the borders and you got to do some real world stuff that's not hypothetical. It's not hypothetical. You need real world practical stuff, and you need it now. You don't need knowledge. You need wisdom. Knowledge is when you know about things and understand things. Read a book, get some knowledge. Wisdom is when you read that book and you get knowledge, but then you go through the process of doing it. Take all the bumps, grinds, hits, knockdowns, grinds, kicks, whatever, okay? And then at the end of it, you made it through it. And you were like, God, I made it through that finally. But you also made it through it with, now you have what's called wisdom. Because now it's almost kind of scientific for you. If you've been through a problem, I come to you with a problem, and immediately you say, well, here's what I did when I faced that. And I trace your steps, or I do it or do something very, very similar to it, and I get the same result. That's wisdom. And that's what you want to know. Big difference between knowledge, thinking you know something, thinking you understand something, and wisdom, knowing you know something and you have been through it and came out the other end, and you know the steps now, the journey in order to get through it once again. Okay. So now let me get on with my list here. And these are the common things that I've been dealing with in health club owners. And this can go straight over to small business owners. I don't care if you own a lunch packing company, or if you own a sandwich making company, or you got some type of delivery company, or you're selling mushrooms and gravy out on the side of the corner, or you got a dog walking service. It doesn't matter. If you're a small business owner and you haven't got your business over $1 million a year, These are some of the problems that you're facing and that I'm working with all the time to help health club owners and small business owners get over these problems. So problem number one, here we go. Do you think that things will get better and they don't? Big one. A lot of people, a lot of the owners and business people tell me, well, sometimes I don't like to take things on directly, like head on with them, because then I really got to think. And then that requires a lot of thinking. And then sometimes I get frustrated with my thinking because I can't figure it out and I can't get anything done. And I'm not really moving forward and I'm just stuck in the hole thinking about the problem. And it's stressing me out. It's driving me nuts. It's driving me insane. Right. So now with what you just said to me, what does that mean? And in a very obvious and a matter-of-fact way that you should do. And they'll think for a minute or two. And I'll give them time to think because I want them to get their honest answer, not my answer, their honest answer. And most of the time, they always come back, well, I just don't want to think that hard, or I don't want to be responsible for solving this problem. So I should get somebody else who will do it for me and maybe teach me how to solve it along the way. Now, a lot of them say that, but it's easy to say it. It's not so hard, even once you recognize what you need to do. You know you need to do it. You are self-admitting it to yourself, but you're afraid to take that next step because that next step is powerful. That next step is transformation time for you. That next step is getting beyond the wall of fear and doubt. And that is terrifying because most of us live our lives like that cartoon, The Croods. Anything that's on the inside with them already, where they live and stay and sleep and eat and almost hardly never leave, is good, safe, secure. Okay. Anything on the outside of that, well, when it's anything on the outside of that, you don't want to go out there. You don't want to face it. What's out there is bad. You're fearful of the unknown. You're fearful of what might happen to you. You're fearful of maybe looking stupid or failing. You're fearful of just standing out there and taking the shots because we don't like to take the shots. And what a lot of people don't really understand, and it's very, very true, I hate to use the damn movie theme, but Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, and I think it was like Rocky 5 or something, he was giving a little pick-me-up thing to his son. But one of the things that he told his son, he goes, look, life is not about how hard you hit. And I really used to think that's what life was about. To me, if it's a problem, I don't like it. I don't like the situation. I don't want to be involved in it. I would either just walk away or pound it into submission physically. Because I was a big, strong guy, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just pound this into submission as lower intellect, And then when I really started thinking at a much higher spectrum and actually got training to do that as well, I begin to realize that life is being able to take the punch or take the hit and keep moving forward towards the opponent. Doesn't matter how many times that opponent hits you, stuns you, takes your legs out from underneath you, knocks you down. None of that matters. Even knocks you out. I got a little story for that because this is actually kind of funny that I said that. But anyway, even if it knocks you out, here's a little story. I'll keep it short. But if you ever watch the Discovery channels, watch something on the honey badger. All right, honey badger is a badass little animal. Now, this dude followed a snake. Actually, it was a cobra. Followed a cobra up a tree. Cobra went out onto the weakest branches. Honey badger kept coming. So the snake ended up, because it had to escape, dropped out of the tree to the ground. When it did that, the honey badger just scurried down that tree, took off after that cobra, caught the cobra. Now, him and the cobra had a battle going. Long story short, the cobra bit his ass. All right. And probably, I don't know how long exactly, I don't remember how long it was, like 5-10 minutes, that venom started working. And the venom actually made the honey badger completely knocked out. I mean, completely. He is passed out. He's sleeping. But the cobra sustained some bad damage during that fight, and he died too. Honey Badger woke up after getting knocked out and went over there and ate that cobra. Head to tail, gone, nothing left of him. And then went out looking for more food. That honey badger, even though he got bit and he got his ass knocked out, he woke up and kept coming forward. And that's the type of attitude you got to have in life. Now, that doesn't mean you got to keep doing the same things over and over and over. No, you don't want to do it that way. You want to do, if you're having a problem, you can't get past it, you want to keep trying to solve it in a different way. Keep doing things over and over and over and over and over, and they don't work. That type of repetition is insanity. But when you keep trying to do and achieve something, but you have to change the way in order to do it, get new information, get new knowledge, get new wisdom, get help, whatever, that's a good thing to do. Keep moving forward in a different way until you find the right ingredients. It's like making chocolate chip cookies. If you don't put the right ingredients in the cookies are going to taste off. And then you're going to be like, oh man, that was a bad dose, man, I got ripped off. No, you didn't put all the right ingredients in the cookies. Put the blame where it goes. Remember, the other thing that I find with working with health club owners and businesses who have not made it over $1 million a year yet, do you not invest in learning and growing because you love being comfortable? Comfort is the trap of all traps. There's a gentleman named Sam Ovens. I'm going to mention his name here, give him a plug. He's got a great company. He's a consultant. You can find him on YouTube, find him on Facebook. The guy is huge, okay? And right now, I think his business is at $25 million a year, and he's strictly showing other people, like I kind of do, showing people how to take their business and get them up to where they want to be. And one of the things, he got a question from one of the audience members, and the audience says, all right, I want the secret. I want the secret sauce. I want the truth. I'm tired of all this bullshit. You tell me and tell us now how it is that we get the success that we really want. We deserve it. We're paid for this thing. We're here. We want to know. And so Sam Ovens said very politely, you're not going to like the answer, but here's the truth. You've got to be able to take more pain than anybody else in your field. Now you can imagine they did not like that answer. You don't like that answer. I didn't like it either. But it was true. Because you know what? It does take a lot of commitment, a lot of pain to get through something and to become the best at it. Because normally getting through it and not stopping when it gets really painful, that's where the value is. Painful. I can't go no further. I'm right here. This is it. I am done. Nah, I got to do this. And you make that little shift over the wall, that little jump. And suddenly you face those fears and you face those feelings of not being worthy or not being responsible or not being disciplined or not being smart enough or not, whatever it is. It's all just a false evidence appearing real to you. So, but once you get through that, then you're okay. You know, like I said, I pay a tremendous amount of money every month and have for years and years and years and years to be members of mentoring groups. You know, Billie Jean Marketing, Frank Kern, Sam Ovens, Brian Tracy, Dave D. I mean, this can go on. Dan Kennedy. I mean, on and on and on. And that's simply because I realized something. I don't know everything. I'm not even capable of learning everything quick enough. I need help. And I need to be kept in a structure that keeps me on the highway of going where I want to go, so I don't hit none of these little side roads and veer off my course and start wandering. And a lot of people do that, almost everybody, you know. So in one way, that is one way that that mentors have been so great for me. You know, just really, really phenomenal for me. And we all need that to some degree. If it's not me, get somebody else. It's okay. But, get someone that knows what you want to do, knows how to do it, and that would take and shave off your learning curve substantially so that you can get through it quickly and so that you can learn it. Next. All right, what do I need to learn now? Go to the best. Pay the best. If you're going to have heart surgery, do you want the guy who's the cheapest, or do you want the best in the world who's the most expensive? I think that's an easy question. Pay the extra money for the quality. Let's see, the next thing. Do you hide behind, are you afraid of spending money to learn new marketing and new selling techniques and processes and procedures because you don't want to spend that money, or you don't want to admit that you're not as good at it as you should be? Or maybe you're very good, but you haven't kept up with what you need to be doing and learning and growing, and so you haven't, and it shows in the amount of money you make, or in your monthly gross and in your daily gross, and you just kind of sit there and you just kind of wipe it out like, it doesn't really matter. Things will get better. Things will be all right, without addressing the problem. No, they're not. Do you have a problem with hiring someone smarter than you? Most people tell me yes. Yes. They do not like the idea of hiring people that are smarter than them. I love to hire people smarter than me. I look for it. It's my number one thing. And what I mean by smarter, even if they're not smarter, but they're more informed about things that I'm weak at, so that they can get me up to snuff with them fast, so I can get past all the book reading and all the audio listening and all the do this, do that, do this and do that. No, they just take me to it and show me how to do it, why we're doing it, and how it works. Man, learning curve, I just crushed it by 90%. It takes me like 10% of the time then to learn it. So always, even if you don't want to do it, don't have no ego trip about it. Hire people that are smarter than you, or people that are more informed than you are. And one of the worst things I see around people is yes men. I just talked to a health club owner about 3 days ago. And he's very behind. And I talked to a couple of his employees. They were all yes men, yes men, yes men, yes men, yes women, and yes men. Nobody wanted to tell him the truth. And they even knew the truth. I was talking to them about it, and they, we kind of veered off talking about him, and they started telling me what the or what the problem really was, and they know the problem, but they're not telling him or her what the real problem is. No, encourage your people to stand up and say, hey, this is what I think you're doing, and I think we should be doing this. Learn, in other words, communicate. They don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to be disrespectful to them. It's communication. It's like, hey, I understand what you're doing, I understand where you're going, but maybe you should consider this, or maybe think about this, and lay it out to them. I love it when I do that. I mean, a lot of my people do that to me all the time, and I encourage them, like, bam, man, I only saw that one way. You're right. Let's do this another way. Let's set it up so we encompass everything and not just this. And trust me, do not ever, I don't care what your IQ is, do not ever think you are the sharpest tool in the shed, because then you won't get an opportunity to be cut by the real sharpest tool in the shed. And that's the guy or girl I want to meet. I want to hear what they're thinking, what they're seeing, what they've been through. Do you know you're failing at marketing, and you know it. You see it. The bank deposits aren't there. The paperwork isn't there. The sales aren't there, and you just know the customers coming through your door are not your prospects, and that's who you're marketing to. But unfortunately, you're finding out these aren't my prospects, but you don't know how to market to the prospects that you want. And one time I was setting, this was, don't remember how long ago this was, so I might lie, not mean to, but it's like 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, something like that, maybe a little longer even. Time flies now, but I heard someone that I was sitting by at a seminar, and he made the statement that if you're going to be the fish, then you better be the biggest fish in the biggest lake. And I thought, man, that creates all kinds of crazy competition, because now I'm fighting in the big lake with other big ass fish. One of these dudes might take me out, or it's going to be a daily struggle that my battle wounds are going to add up eventually. And as I start aging a little bit more, how it all comes on. You're like, oh my God, I remember that one. You don't want to be in that scenario. To me, let me tell you something. If you can be the biggest fish in the small pond, you are far better off being the big fish in the small pond than trying to be the biggest fish in the big lake. Now that kind of sounds counterproductive. That kind of sounds like, I don't know about that one. I want to be over here where the big money is. You are in the big money. The little pond has plenty of big money. You just don't have to battle it out and compete with everybody else. If you're selling a product, or if you're selling a service, now it does depend on the price of your product or service. It also depends upon how much overhead do you have coming out of that every month. Now, both these factors have to be determined into this equation, or it doesn't work. However, you will find that if you've got somewhere between 500 to 1,000 people who buy everything you put out, every product, every service that you put out, and a lot of them retain you, meaning you get a monthly residual from them as well, bearing that the other things are in control, as I mentioned, are balanced out and properly done, you can make as much money as you would ever need. And I mean living extravagant lifestyle. And you still got more money than you can throw at a stick. Especially if you structure your taxes properly and go to an accountant who's going to make sure that you're paying somewhere between 0 to 20% legally. And it's all above board. Don't deal with no one who wants to take you down some crazy whacked out idea about taxes. Don't do that. But make sure it's solid and that it's real. So if you look at your marketing and you know your marketing isn't working because the money isn't there, then you really owe it to yourself to go, I need some marketing help, and get somebody in there who knows what they're doing. If it's not me, somebody else. But here's the thing you don't want. You don't want someone to come in and put a patch, like you're on a bicycle and you're rolling down the street and tire blows out. You don't want someone to pull over to the side of the road and patch the tire and air it up for you. Now, I admit that patch is nice. It may help you get home safe and sound. Agreed. But what you do not want to do is have a permanent patch. You want that patch, at worst case scenario, get you patched up, get you down the road so you can get the help that you really need and fix that tire properly. Same way with your marketing. You want to fix your marketing problem, situation, condition, whatever it may be, perspective. You want to fix it in a very permanent way so that the structure is there, the deal is there, the copy's there, the headlines are there, the offer is there, and the conversion is there. You want to fix it every step of the way. It's the same way. If I got a funnel working for me and suddenly that funnel stops working, right away I got to stop, go to the beginning of the ad, trace my ad back to the landing page, the sign-up information, the webinar or the video sales letter or the consultation, whatever I did. Then I'm over here. Then I'm looking at the scheduler. Is my scheduling off? Is my timers not working? What's going on over there? My application, is my application not up? Is it not working right? Is it flawed somewhere? You got to just go back and keep on detecting where the problem is, because it can be one little bitty thing and you fix that one little bitty thing and you're back up rolling again. So that's where you want to be. Oh yeah, another one. Here's a big one, huge one. Figures. I did not used to be. Anybody who ever worked with me in the past can tell you, Brady never really believed in keeping track of what he was making or what he was spending. I didn't care. I just go make more money. Woo, let's go. Go make more cash. But as I really started having some great mentors who really started pounding it through my head, including my accountant, now I'm a numbers man. And I'm actually I'll even say that I'm a numbers man to the degree that I'm kind of like, as I said before, you get a paint by number. Hey, don't laugh. That's the only way I can paint. If I ain't got a paint by number, you might as well forget it, because you ain't going to decipher what that thing is. I got an F in my stick man. Yeah. I was in like 8th grade, and I took my stick man up to my art teacher, because she had us doing stick mans. And I took my stick man up to her, and she was like, hey, you know what, Brady, some of us just aren't meant to be artists, honey. Right away, I knew I was too talented to be in there. I said, you're right. Some of us are meant to be great. Yeah, right. It is horrible. It is atrocious how bad my art ability is. And so, but now I'm kind of like, I run my business like you do a paint by number set. I got to know the numbers. I got to track everything. I'm fanatical about it. I got to know what I spent on that ad, what that ad cost me, what my rate of return was on that ad, how many people clicked that ad, how many people took that next step, how many of those people bought. I got to have all that, everything. So I can set at the end of the month and look at what I'm doing and go, by the numbers, I can tell what's right and what's wrong, what's out of whack, what needs to be tuned up, what's doing better, what could do even better. I am strictly by the books. And I learned that it changed my effectiveness in the world of business big time. So I'm one of those guys now. You've got to know your numbers. They've got to be tight, squeaky clean. You got to know and stay on top of your numbers. Know your numbers every day. Some people say it's a little fanatical and you shouldn't do that. Okay, I can accept that. If that's not for you, don't do that. But you got to know your numbers at least weekly, in my opinion. So at least every week you're going down looking at your numbers and knowing what's right so you can fix what's wrong. If you don't look at your numbers and know what's wrong, you ain't never going to fix it. And it's going to keep costing you money, either by you losing money by spending too much in your marketing, or you're not getting the return on your marketing that you should because you didn't fix the ad. And it's just flying out the window. And the same way as your selling system. If your sales system and you're down like 10, 20, 30% of people that you talk to, and you're not somewhere at 50, 60 at least category, you need to be fixing your sales program because something's wrong. It's either your lead flow, or it's how you're setting them, or it's somewhere in the selling process, and you got to go fix it. And you got to find it. You got to track and trace it down. And if you think you're going to get successful at sales without having a success system with procedures and a process and how you do it, you're absolutely absurdly thinking. Because that is not going to happen. And I'm going to tell you this to save you, because I've been through this crap, and I've watched literally 100 people go through the same learning. They finally get to like, oh yeah, I need to fix that. Yeah, you've got to fix your marketing. You've got to fix your product. Because remember, no matter what business you are in, I don't care if you're a brokerage, I don't care if you're a broker for real estate, if you're a car salesman, if you're, if you got a dog walking service, if you make Big Macs out on the corner and sell them, cut people's lawns, walk dogs. I don't care what it is. 100% don't care. Any business, doesn't matter. You are not in the business of your thing, your service, or your product. You are in the market of marketing. You're in the business of marketing and selling that product or that service. If you're not in the business to market your product and sell it and your service, you ain't got a business. You got a hobby. Hobbies are not where you want to be trying to make big money. So I told you before, I used to be involved with a business partner. His name is Paul. And um, one of Paul's learned abilities that he had was that, he could look at basically any health club that we were at, and he could give me the pretty much the down to the number overhead of what they got going on. And we haven't even seen the books yet. He just looked at the staff, he looked at the club, he looked at the lights, he looked at everything we're going, everything that's in the club and whatnot. And he goes, they're operating about $20,000. I'm like, how do you know that? You don't know that. Shut up. And he did know that, because he had that wisdom, because he was a health club owner himself. He knows what stuff's cost. He knows what it keeps it going, da, 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 da. And he was able to give me that just simply by having that knowledge. So that's what I'm talking about, between the difference between just knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge, you know about something. Wisdom, you learn by going through that knowledge and taking the bumps and the grinds and the headaches and the turns and the twists, and you came out on top. And now you look back and go, hey, I know the path now. I know how to do that. I can get from there to there, there to there, anytime I want to. Same path. Exactly. You got to walkway, do it. And so you really have to know the numbers. I beg you, I plead you to become a member of Do Business by the Numbers, just like you do paintings by the numbers. And it will substantially help you win. Do you sell at the price point that you want? Most people don't. Most people, when they can't sell what they want to sell, they drop the price. Immediate problem. It just means when you're not getting the price that you want for your product or your service, you're not talking to the right fish in the right pond. You've got a problem. You've got a breakdown somewhere in who you are prospecting and marketing to. And you haven't fixed that. You haven't altered your message so that it pulls you out of competition where you don't want to be. You don't want to be in competition. You want to enter the conversation to your product and customer, client, member, right where they've already got their attention at inside their mind. Now you're just going to enter the kitchen table and sit down with them and talk, instead of out trying to flip, burning fire sticks and everything else, trying to get their attention. Getting their attention is a game of competition. Entering their attention is a game of intersect. It's a game of knowing where to meet them halfway where they are and enter that conversation that they've already been having. And if you can do that, it's way easier, way easier. So these are some of the things that I've seen with the health clubs that I have been dealing with as of like 4 to 6 months ago, let me say. And the problems that I'm seeing that they're doing, and it causes them to do one of the main things they don't really want to be doing, and none of us want to do it, and that's called, you've got to learn to get out of your own way. If you do not learn how to get out of your own way, nothing you do will ever work for you. It's like the person saying, hey, I'm moving out of Vegas. Why? Because everything sucks here. Why? Because everyone's against me. Why? Because these people are rude and stuck up and they don't know any better. Oh, where are you going? I'm going to California. California. Oh, okay. Yeah, California is much better. Everything's great over there. Blah, blah, blah. They pack and they move. They go to California. 6 months to 2 years later, you see him back and you go, hey, man, what happened? I thought you were moving. And he goes, I did. Well, what happened? Man, same problem, same bullshit there in California that there is here. Can't get out of your own way. See, you cannot outrun your own way of thinking. You cannot outrun your own belief system. You cannot outrun what you consider to be for you your daily standard operating system. If you think you can outrun that, you're wrong. You can alter it, you can change it, you can manipulate it and make it be different. But just trying to force it to be different and act like the problems and things that are there and aren't real is bullshit. That's going to crumble you. And I don't want that to happen to you. So remember, if your gym isn't running right, if your health club isn't running right, it's because you're in your own way. People do not want to hear that. But until they get that, and some of them do, and thank God they're great to work with, when they're just like, you know what, there are things I don't know. There's things I need to learn. So let's do this, you know. And then other people, they have all these problems that I've been talking about, won't move, won't budge. And then a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, they'll get back in touch and go, you know, I think there is some saying, you know, I was dealing with some issues and I need to get past this thing. I need your help. You know, fine. I'm not going to make fun of you or get mad at you or say anything to belittle you, because there's nothing there to do that for. You know, you manned up, you womaned up, and you got up here and you're taking care of your problem now. And that's exactly what I would do in any scenario. I've done it a ton of times. Trust me, a ton of times. So, you know, I had to admit it to myself, Brady, get out of your own way. Yep, I am in my own way. Yep, you are. Get out of it. So you've got to be the person that pulls you out of your own way. Please do. Look at what's going on around you. Is this how you want the next year to be? You're in the same spot a year from now? Because you will. If you shoot an arrow, and if you were to stop and slide it and be able to sight it where it was going to land, you can just about predict where it's going to land. And that's most people's lives. Think about everybody you know right now. Everybody you know. How many of their lives are that much different than their lives were 6 months or a year ago? How much different was it 2 years or 5 years ago? How much different was it than 10 years ago? Those years come up fast, man. They will blindside you, and you're waking up on the better side of 50. Bam! You're like, what the hell? I was just 25. Got to get control of it now. It is your thinking that creates 100% of your problems, situations, frustrations, conditions, and how you will react to them. One of the things I want to tell you right now before I close out is this. Do not become a reactor to your thinking. Because if you react to your thinking, you will react to your emotions. If you react to your emotions will wipe you out. Trying to support them, sustain them, treat them, hold them off, deal with them, whatever. Emotions are like waves at an ocean. The tide comes in, rush of emotions. Tide goes out. Let the emotions go back out too. So you really want to get yourself into a state of thinking where you're neutral to positive. Every now and then you're going to hit Negativeville. Don't stay in Negativeville. Get your ass through Negativeville and get back to neutral to positive. Because you want to spend all your time in trying to solve the problem by approaching it from different ways. Get out of your own way. Get somebody in there who can help you. Because if not, your problem is only going to manifest, magnify, and it's only going to get larger. Each day, each week, each month, you're losing more and more money in your own personal life. You're losing maybe friends, you're losing family, you're losing money, you're losing leverage, you're losing energy and synergy. It's all going down the drain. You've got to slow yourself down, and you've got to go from being a reactive thinker to becoming a responding thinker. Reaction thinkers just go off with whatever they feel. Whatever's in the moment, blah, 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 blah. They're gone, blaming things, accusations, just going over. And a lot of times you do a lot of bad, you do a lot of bad damage to yourself. So instead of being a reactive thinker, reacting to the emotion, become a responsive answer. Feel the emotion, deal with the emotion, place the emotion properly where it needs to be, so you can come look at the problem in a logical way and go, okay, this is my problem, and this is how I logically get there. Then once you make a detail on how to get there, and sometimes you can use that emotion you place to the side to put it into that problem solving and really fire that problem solving up, because it's emotionally driven now. The emotion is being properly used now. And so it's able to really power your little ship there and get you to the moon and get you back. instead of just blowing yourself out with reactive thinking, thinking about the emotion and just letting the emotion overwhelm you, and you react to it, and you're doing all types of crazy stuff and blaming people for this and blaming people for that, and they did this, they did that, and that over there wasn't that, but that was this, and I'm tired of this stuff, and everything else is done too, and you just wear yourself out. Lay back, relax. There's some breathing techniques, thinking techniques that you can do that will allow you to get rid of the emotion so you can logically sit down and see what needs to be done. So instead of being a reactive thinker, be a responding thinker. Okay? Doesn't mean you can't feel emotions. Of course you can feel emotions. That's not what I'm telling you. All right, so I guess I appreciate all of those who have been here with me for 45 minutes, and I'm going to head this now over to YouTube because, like I keep telling you, if you do a live Facebook or anything, any video, a picture, whatnot, video, upload it to YouTube next. I'm just going to take this video, this same one, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube. Set the keyword, set the sequence in there so that it works for me through the spider bugs and the spiders, the little spider bots start crawling for YouTube and someone types in something near my keywords. And I'm going to do the same thing on Instagram. Exactly same thing on Instagram. And if you're going to do a podcast, maybe you have a podcast or want to start a podcast, you can use snippets from all your content that you've already done. And so you just keep going over the same stuff each week until you decide to introduce something new. Like this video here is very much new, and I haven't talked about the problems that I've been facing with health club owners that I've talked to. And I don't really call them problems, I call them difficulties, only because they need to get them to see a different way and get out of their own way. And if I can do that, their business can take off. So until later, I appreciate all of you being here. Remember, give somebody a hug today. Everybody is going through something. Give them a hug. It can make the difference in their day. Talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot.